Lesson 25.
Bill, I thought we had a letter already that represented X. Why do we have a letter that looks like X?
Well, Catherine, I'm glad you asked. It is kind of a long story, but in the very early history of the Greek alphabet, not all the Greek city-states agreed on what sound to associate with what letter. And so you had a division between East and West. People in the eastern parts of the Greek-speaking world, when they saw two lines crossed in the shape of an X, they wanted to pronounce it like the letter chi or ki, as we're learning it here in this lesson. But people in the western parts of the Greek-speaking world, they wanted to pronounce that letter like a K and an S, like x. And so that's why in the West, where Italy is, that's why they adopted this letter to sound like an X, but people in the eastern part of the Greek-speaking world used it as a ch kind of sound, and so that became the letter chi, or letter ki. And so yes, there are two different values for this.
But one transferred into the Roman alphabet, and the other stayed in the Greek alphabet.
That's right. The way it was pronounced more in the eastern parts, that's what stayed in the Greek alphabet. But the way it was pronounced in the western regions of the Greek-speaking world, that's how it made it into the Roman alphabet. That's the kind of sound it got when the Romans and Etruscans borrowed it.
And so that's why RX looks like this letter, even though it says a completely different sound.
Exactly. So these two lines that are crossed in the shape of an X, in the Roman alphabet, it sounds like KS, but in the Greek alphabet, it sounds like kind of a light scraping sound, as I say here. I couldn't really think of much of a better way to describe it. It's a very gentle sort of ch sound in the back of the mouth. Now, there are some Greek teachers out there who will just pronounce this letter like the letter K.
Yes.
So they don't make the effort to pronounce it like ch or ch. They just pronounce it like a K, and that's their choice. They can do that if they want. But here's the thing. If you pronounce it just like the letter K, you cannot differentiate it from the letter kappa when you're listening to someone pronounce Greek. So the advantage of making that scraping sound in the back of your mouth is that this differentiates it from a kappa, and so you can hear the way words are spelled when people pronounce them.
And that definitely has an advantage in understanding, particularly as you get more and more advanced